So, as you can see, Tut, my camera's still screwed up. Yay! It's fun. There was an update and yeah. It's fun. Because I don't know if it's an update or what happened, all of a sudden, camera doesn't work the way I want it to. All the settings I had are gone. I messed with it for a while. Nope, nothing. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna, today, do this thing where we cut the just chatting portion down a lot. And, no, I didn't. I kept the same version. Nope, I still have the same old stuff. So I don't know, all of a sudden, just my settings, I don't know if it's this camera or if it's OBS. I found out that if I unplug my computer from the wall and it, goes out of power, then it's my camera settings mess up. They don't save, and until I reset them. Well, I remembered what I set them as, but when I went and did it, I went, that's not how that looked. So what I decided to do was actually fix it for this scene. It's still not right, because look right it is. And I've tried. So, yeah. Hey, babe. Because I want to hear it. I want. We were trying to mess with the video. Yeah, that's my point. It's not sharp. It's gray. It just doesn't have the right stuff on there anymore. When I had it set up like I did, and yeah, I don't know how to fix it. That's the sad part. But Because I've tried to go through and like set the video on there, see if I go and change stuff. It won't let me do it because it's being a pain in the butt. But you know, that's part of it. Yeah, the color's kind of gone. Even doing this doesn't really fix it, sadly. Yeah, color doesn't change it. So yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could really do is come here and try to mess with it again like I did last time and configure it. Because like I tried making the colors right. But it just was not. Whee! I mean, I guess it's a little bit better. Ori! Hi! What's up? How are you? It's about as good as I'm going to get it, I think. So, it's about as good as I got. See how it looks here. Still a little bright, but that's better. It's actually a lot better than what it was. It was. It was not working the way I wanted it to. Yeah. Well, like, okay, so Ori, I know we talked about this a long time ago. But for some reason, I don't know what happened. My settings reverted again. And when I changed my settings back to what they were, they don't output the camera the way that it used to look. So, yeah. And I don't know why. Like, I could understand if I changed a bunch of stuff, but no. Also, legitimately, the only reason why I bought this camera, what put me over the edge was at the time the job that I had, they wanted us on camera, and so I was like, all right, fine, I can use this for work and for streaming. So, but yeah, so I bought this one because it was decent and it works pretty well in in modes. Like if I'm on forgot the program. um why can I not think of this? The sad thing is my age is showing. I'm starting to, my first thing came to mind was Skype. I'm like, that's not right. Like I haven't used Skype in probably 10 years. No, it's been longer than 10 years since I've used Skype. What's the what what's the name of the program that people usually do like interviews and remote stuff on? Zoom. Thank you. I could not think of Zoom. Oh man. Thanks. Zoom meetings. Good night. That's so bad. You can tell that I'm not a Zoomer. Why is your internet cutting out?
No? Is that your final answer?
Anyway. You know, yeah, Ori, I missed your stream the other day, too. I saw you go live, and I was like, I want to go hang out with Ori, I want to go hang out with Ori, but I can't. That's kind of how it happened. I was at work. So, that's what happened. Overall, to be honest with you, Ori, I have been full spectrum. If that makes sense. You missed me using a lasso on people. Hey. He literally said that IRL. Just like that. My perfect drought. My dear, I was at work. City of Ry'uul. Ooh. Took me a second to realize that you meant by full spectrum, but I think I get it. Yeah, I've been through a myriad of emotions, both great and small. Oh, wow!
Oxygen levels depleting.
Whoa! I'm suffocating.
Creed Maker, signal lost. Commander Thera, signal detected.
Nope. Go that way. Hope y'all doing all right. Just, yes, it is so hot. Yeah, the Carolinas have been ridiculously hot. Stop. Oh, I'm alive. No. Aw, man. Humidity is what's been killing me. I mean, same. Yeah, I have a job where I have to go outside sometimes, and when it's over 100 degrees, pushing carts is hot. And not in the browse kind of way. Yeah. I mean, so here's the fun part, Ori. So, like, in my job, I have the pleasure, responsibility, I don't know. In my position, I have to do so much. It's not just me, though. I've got friends that we all do the same stuff. Like, not only do we bag groceries, do we ring up groceries, do we do Western Union, money orders, send money, pay bills, gift card services, check cashing. But, we also have, things where we're doing cart service, where we do, helping people with their groceries out, Instacart, and cart retrieval. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we do as my role, and it's crazy at times. No. I wonder what my third melee is. Yeah, so we have a lot of responsibility with what we do. Just got to check the mail. No, I'm gonna save. Check the mail. It's so hot. I'm not even a dude. Uh-oh. Andy, it didn't work. It reaches 100% humidity sometimes, and it's just nasty. Yes. It has been. Or, wait, how did... That's nasty. I walk outside, glasses on, immediately can't see because they fog up. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is one thing I find really funny. Every year... Well, what the... there were rocks there, thank you very much. There have been people that said, I don't want anyone to ever complain again about how cold it gets down here. And I laugh, and I'm like, yep, people say it every year. Oh, it's so cold. I can't do it, it's so cold. I mean, it does get chilly here, I won't lie. Like, there have been days it's been like 17 as the high. Okay, so how... Oh. Ah. That's where I'm supposed to go. 30 is better than 90 anytime. Okay. You love cold? Well, then why do you like me? Huh? Why do you like me? I'm warm like fire. Sorry. That is one of the tags. That's why I said it. Okay, look, Ori, I need to have... This might... I need you to really think about this with me, okay? You may hate me for it, but tell me if this does not scratch a specific brain itch for you, okay? Are you ready? Oh, man. So, you know how things like peppers, you have the seeds, that there's the capsaicin in there that makes things spicy, right? Oh, that's how you throw yourself across. All right. So you got capsaicin, makes things spicy, and you're like, man, this is really hot. This is hot. Wow, this is hot. Hi, Rancid. I know, I love spicy food. Now, okay. What would you say is the opposite of spicy? Don't say bland. Would you say cold? No. Hey, buddy. What are you? That was a cool first fight. Mint is just cold spicy. Tell me I'm wrong. You were gonna say bland? Mild is the opposite of spicy, but I'm telling you, mint is cold spicy. But am I wrong? The third one. Ooh. I guess mint. It's not refreshing though. That's the fun part. Like, that's the best part, is that it doesn't. So if you mix spicy and mint, you create dragon fire. Because what it does is it burns warm when you breathe in and when you breathe out. A guy called it dragon fire. Cosmic eyes? Well, I mean, you're not... Mint and spicy both are plant defense mechanisms. Yeah, a guy goes, I figured I could try to, you know, get rid of... See, I thought I could get rid of spicy with mint. He goes, no, I created dragon fire, because when I breathed in the cold air, it was cold and it burned. Then I breathed out because it was too cold, and it was hot, and then it burned because it was spicy. Hold on, let me screen this call real quick. Getting a phone call. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's true. They are plant-based defense mechanisms because mint kills so many bugs, and we're like, I'm gonna put this on chocolate. Oh, we're gonna make seeds that burn so they stop eating us. Yo, how hot can we make this?
Woe to all who stand before him.
Yeah, that's where the warm like fire, that was just an obvious one, but mint is cold spicy is probably one of my favorite tags. Okay, how do I fight you? Well, that's one way. Thank you. Man, speaking of food though, I finally got a rice cooker. Oh man, rice cookers are fantastic. Actually, we're having our dinner partially be cooked with rice cooker tonight. Fair, I can find it to eat for like 20, 30. Ori, I'll tell you this. If I had known that you would have wanted a rice cooker, I would have bought you one. Like, picked one out for you, or I would have given you a gift card so you could buy the one you wanted. No problems. I mean, you're very kind. I mean, I'm Crimson, but thank you. I don't want to say that a rice cooker is a necessity like an air fryer is, but rice cookers are so nice. Oh, wait. I would recommend to not dive headfirst into this. Cooking journeys? Oh. Oh, that's how you get up there, because it's water. Rice cooker is just nice because it's easy to cook something when I have below a second. Yes. You let the rice cook for 30 minutes. Good to go. Yeah, excellent. Oh, hello. I got a dread mace. Interesting. Okay. I want to try. They had some jasmine rice and chicken broth, added some seasoning, chili, crisp, and oh yeah. I'd say cook up some chicken. Or any other desired meat. Bye. Bah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's loaded. Hey guys. Oh. Okay, what would you like to do? I'm in a fight. Hey, buddy! Back! Sweetheart.
Check that out.
Oh, that looks delicious.
Not bad for something I just threw together.
Hey, some of the things you just throw together are some of the best dishes. Okay, hold up. I'm not trying to brag here. I just want you guys to see how I'm brag on my wife. Oh, camera's black. Yay! Ta-da! Oh, reversed. Ta-da! Yeah! It's like same. Uh-oh. Aww. The game crashed. Tapping back and forth. Yeah, it's chicken and chicken broth, or chicken. Rice with chicken broth. Oh man, it looks good. And a rice cooker. Rice cooker. With mushrooms and broccoli and chicken. Oh dang, that's pretty good. I've only taken a bite of the broccoli, so I don't know. I saw a Banshee. Sorry, it's hot. How you dealing? Doing? All right. I mean, yeah, I can imagine. You need to talk, I'm here. So. I guess I'm really struggling to see the yay moment on that, but yeah. Well, no, what I was saying is like I guess I can't. What I was saying is I don't understand the yay moment. Oh, anxiety is over. Okay. Gotcha. I guess I really just hate it for you. Because, like, I really hate that. Because of... Yeah. Like, yeah. Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly, honey. Exactly what you said there. Like, abuse or anything like that, absolutely. What am I supposed to do? Yeah, right? I was gonna say, this is good. You know what's weird? But like, it's too easy. Oh, yeah, that's how it's at. Whee! Go down to eat your own food and go, oh, this is good. Yes. I know this is weird, but for some reason, like, I want this meal over a bed of mashed potatoes. Ow! Like, yeah, it's great when I make something and my brother says, it's good, etc., but not, does he like it? But I'm so critical of myself, so when I make something I enjoy, it's like, yeah! There you go. There's what's in it. It's very good. Well, sad thing is, Banshee, there's not really a recipe. Yeah, man. Oh. Alright, I'm not playing well tonight. Rice cookers do help, I'll tell you that. You know what? I like how the music gets quieter when you're almost dead. I had block. I right-click the block. Well. Heads up. Uh-oh. Stop spamming, bro. Ooh. Alright, do the little green thing. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, there's one kill. There's that. Bye-bye. Hey! Oh, you want some? Let's go. Yes! Excellent timing on that. That's all tree. No. She didn't throw all of that in the same. Because she baked some of the stuff too. You know, I actually forgot we had an air fryer. Not gonna lie. Sultry, how are ya? What's new? What's good? Yeah. Oh. Well, weehaw!
Our covenant with the Dark Realm is sealed. Now, their strength is our own.
What you want to be, or what you want to be cooking. I don't use mine as often as I have a huge Instapot. I use it for slow cooking, which is kind of for... Yeah, the thing about cooking things slower is they can marinate within the sauce. Absorb the flavors and be good. Yeah. I would argue that's not the best way to cook because what if you want to duplicate the recipe? Oh, and you can't. Because I forgot what was in it. Oh. Aha! But we're enjoying it tonight. Oh, come on. Thank you. Huh. Oh? Really now? I didn't realize that you couldn't take her on long walks. Oh. Party man. I didn't know that. That was 2 months ago? Wow. Wow. There are fireballs over here. Must be something good. Ah. That was worth it. Like a life sigil. Oh, nope, nope. Oh, wait. Yep. What's down here? Oh. Ah. So I missed the jumpy boy. Maybe it wasn't activated yet. So I've gotten rid of the knee pain. Ah, I'm sorry. Takes time, doesn't it? Ah. X-Men Law thinks somehow bone is rubbing on bone, even though everything is... Well, I mean... Is it possible? Yes. It is still a possibility, just because if you damage the cartilage, that can happen. You know? My mother-in-law, she had no cartilage in her knees for like 18 years. So, plenty of bone on bone there, and I mean, it's possible. But I feel like if you'd have torn anything, that the doctors would have found it. Oh, dang it. Dual action pain reliever does alright. flattened like a pancake. I already forgot where I'm supposed to go. Almost, yeah, right, elevator boss from WoW. Yeep! Yeah. Pretty much. Hmm. That'll be nice. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Bye-bye. QA is in town? Yeah. Have a little mini vacation for the vacation. Yeah. I've caused it once or twice. In a raid, I'll put a toilet item under there. Elevator drops. We run over to look at it. Ori's a troll. Even though she plays Alliance, she's still a troll. Wow, joke. You're a gremlin. I believe it. New boss call you. So you're staying home the next couple of days. Is it because you're new? Yeah, no, I got it. Bye-bye. Oh, so you made him angry. Banshee. Excuse you. It's a prevention sack. Yeah, I see that. Banshee isn't cold spicy. She's hot spicy. I mean, it depends on the joke. Ooh. Boink. Shiny. Yeah, I guess I don't see that as a joke. Oh, that's not. Oh, man. Why does it keep giving me this one? I don't even like this one. Bye-bye. Oh, yes! Until he lost him again. That is so satisfying. Bye-bye. Low ammunition. Oh, I'm gonna die. That was very close. Come here. Ah. I actually really like how I can fear kick. Sorry. That's a terrible joke. Oh, what are you guys? Ah, yeah. Ah, what the? Little meatballs. Oh, I am. Whew. We got this. We're good. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Get wrecked, scrub. Now that you said it, maybe. Here's why. In the service industry, that kind of stuff never goes to corporate. Maybe a couple buddies. Never corporate. Drop additional health. Because here's the thing. What if one of them? Yeah. Interesting. Like, No, I don't even want to say it because I don't want to give the example. The example could be poor and taken out of context, and I don't want that to happen. But yeah, so I do like the mace. The flail is really cool too. We're gonna wait a bit. But like, you know, it's a matter of knowing your audience. Corporate, not your audience. No, no. Oh wait, I'll put it this way. If you say people group RX, think about how that's not going to go well with this in the service industry. That's all I meant. Oh, what? I missed one? No, you're good, Rancid. I'm glad that you were smart. You dipped. You took care of yourself. I want to go back. Splitter store.
Got debated. You got debated. You got debated.
Yep, I did. Man. Why would you stop? Now, I wonder if I replay this, if I re-kill everything.
Oxygen levels depleting. Creed Maker, signal lost. Commander Thera, signal detected.
I think it's because there was a period before it. Maybe. All right. I want that armor. Oh, I died. No. Yep. Bump. Ning. Out of rhythm here. There we go. Would you rather fight hand-to-hand combat Doom Guy or Kratos? Doom Guy, because here's the thing. I'm a human, I'm not a demon. Kratos would absolutely obliterate me. Alright, Ori, love you, bye. Have a good night, it's great to see you. I have no reason to fight Doom Guy, and Doom Guy has no reason to fight me.
The Old One has returned. Woe to all who stand before him.
Hey, Hans. You want to look up the voice actress for the demon priestess? For some reason, I just heard Sylvanas. It could be the vocal effect, but Define combat. You pissed them off. Again, I'm not a demon. So Gina Gershon? Okay, who voices Sylvanas? Patty Matson. Okay, never mind. Ah, that sound is so satisfying. Bong! Come on. No, throw a green one. Throw a green one. Bam. Yes. Yes. Bong. Bong. Hey! I picked up a melee thumb. Gina Gershon was in Showgirls? Ta-da! Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but like that doesn't mean anything to me. Man, that was good. That was very good. So, Rancid, do you agree with my assessment? Oh, I know who she is. Yeah. She's girl, the giant knife. Oh wait, she's not Rosa? Oh no, she's the secretary, right? Oh! Excuse me, I came back up from that. Do is push you away and go find a demon. Is Gina Gershon, is she the secretary lady? But she plays Lieutenant Hawkins if she's not main cast. Bong. Okay. Oh, maybe that's why I was thinking it was. Look, you stand still. Thank you. Come on. Shoot him in the snoot! I did. What's up, zombie? Zombie. So, I came back to this mission because I missed an armor upgrade. And I don't know where it's at.
Our covenant with the Dark Realm is sealed. Now, their strength is our own.
Bing. You can trigger it for the DLC because they don't. All right, mark the secrets on the map. Oh, you know what? I forgot they do that. Oops. Well, I'm missing one of the. thing I'm missing is a fight. So I came in here, did the thing. I swim all the way to the place. I even did the thing where, no, I went over there. Well, that was smart. Yeah, go over here. Got the things over there. It was the life thingy. Order. Yep. Then I went down here. I was like, nope, this the wrong. Dang it. Cause yeah, that's that room. You're 99%. Whoa. That's impressive. Oh wait, hold up. Like, 'cause I gotta find a way to get in there. Which one is it? It's called Leftovers. Okay, perfect. Alright, checkpoint. Alright. Oh, man.
Our covenant with the Dark Realm is sealed. Now their strength is our own.
Ding dong. Just don't. Don't get this one. Oh, yes I do. You idiot. You. Okay. You have to find the Great Feast in the DLC, which is like 50% of the way through the level. If it's not there, you have to start all over. Oh. Not there. It's about 25 minutes every run. But you could get lucky and get it on like your second try. That's what I'm hearing. Oh, you lost your arm, buddy. Hi, Starburst. Another one. Last one took me ages only because I was looking in the wrong area, but at least I know exactly where to look this time. That is very helpful. What's the armor? Oh, I fell. Hey, Green Avenger, what's up, man? You have nothing to apologize for, my friend. You are welcome here. All right, we should try and set up. You know what? I wouldn't mind playing that again sometime. I'll tell you what I'm kind of hooked on currently. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm really getting into Warhammer. Space Marine 2, I'm really enjoying it. I found it! I do not ever want to do that. Now the other way. Now, how do I get up there? Health is so low. Nope. There. do I get over there? No. Gotta go over there. Blueberry lemon muffins. Nice. Oh. Oh. There's gotta be some way up that. Something I'm missing. I have not looked in the background. What? No. Senor Zombie. Do you know how to get up there? Oh, what? Over there. Buddy. I need to get over there. Over there. How do? What do you mean? How? I don't know how. This is exactly what I did last time. I didn't know where I was going, but like, I don't know how I would soft lock myself because there's like nothing here. Unless there's something I'm supposed to unlock. Vertigo escape makes me feel dumb. Don't feel dumb. Use the waypoint. And the map.
Activate.
Oh, don't you dare! That is so rude. That's so rude. Do that again. I dare you. You know what? I don't even care. Oh, you're dead. Let's go. Anybody else want some? Anybody? Bong! Stop it. Oh, you want some too? Let's go. Shoot your little green balls. Oh, bye-bye. Shot in the face. The game might say no, I can't do that. What else is there to kill? Oh, you guys. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, that was satisfying. Bong! Oh, yes. Let's go. You know what? Bye. What, you can change melee by pressing C? What? What? Excuse me? You can change your shield thing by pressing Z. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay, now I can understand me being soft locked. Because of that. I can see that. Like that would make some sense. All right, I'm cool with that one. See, that one's so good though. All right, hold on. Okay. Let's just restart this real quick. Because clearly I'm missing something. Yes, please.
Oxygen levels depleting. Creed Maker. Signal lost.
I'm try
Commander
one more
Theory.
thing.
Signal detected.
Has checkboxes to tick. Let's see. One thing that bothers me about Doomslayer swimming is he opens his hands. You should, like, the other way around. Look, Doomslayer only... He may not kill you outright. He only kills demons, not people. Okay, I did this. I did that. Yeah, I need that to open. No. Oh. I'm assuming that's a life thingy. Yeah, life sigil. Okay, that's all that was. Yeah, it is. But it's not the... not what I need. Oh yeah. Oh, look, you got no arms. Bong. Okay, hold up. Hey, look at that. Kind of wondering if I need to shoot the sigil at something different. You know what I mean?
The old one has returned. Woe to all who stand
In our
before
way.
him.
Okay. Buddy. What's that? No, zombie, what I need to get to, I think, is this. I think that's what I'm trying to get to, because it's this I'm looking for. You need to get into a big old fight for that armor. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get in the fight. And I feel like there's a portal that I gotta break to make the fight happen. And I don't know how to do that. Yeah, like, duh. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I know. Huh, how do I get the thing? Oh, you gotta go over there and grab it. Oh, I never thought of that. Thanks, man. Biased because I'm scratching my head. No, you're fine, zombie. Don't you worry one bit. Legit? You found a door that doesn't open from this side? Oh, well, Ascension's now a Souls-like. Bye-bye. Oh, that scared me. That legitimately scared the crap out of me. Woo! All right. You're gonna spam a long thing? There's a lone pillar? Okay, the room with the dread mace. I know where that's at.
With the dark realm is sealed. Now their strength is our own.
What?
Okay, so this is where the dread mace is, right there. You pick it up right there. Okay. Leaving the section where you get the dread mace, after taking the air booster to the ledge with the gold. Done? Yes. Hold on, let me fix this real quick. I'm dead. Oh, I made it! I'm so confuzzled. Alright, let me look. I'm so confuzzled. What is that? Okay. Okay. I don't know, zombie. I've spent way too much time trying to get this one armor thing. I probably could have beaten another mission or two. Yeah, right. Show me the lone pillar. Here's one. Bong. Okay, here's the air booster. No, that's not the right one. This is where I was. Oh, lone pillar, where are you? We gotta run all the way around. Oops. Secret pillar, secret pillar. Hey, buddy. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, hold up. Up. Uh-huh. Boing! Ah. Let's go. Man, I don't know how I reacted that fast. Bong. Oh, you a big boy. You a dead boy. Bong. Yeah, there's the armor. Okay, now all I gotta do is get out of the game. Let's go! Thank you, zombie. I don't know how I missed that. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Bong. It's almost too like some secrets are just easy to miss. Yeah, I suppose. That kind of scared me, not gonna lie. What is hitting? Oh, hi. Nope. No. La 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 la. $99? Oh. I mean, I had 99 or 96%. It's all good. I don't care about that challenge. Hey, boys.
2 cosmic relics detected nearby. Collect both to proceed.
No. Agreed. Tut. Stunner. Boss fights suck. Well, that's depressing. Hey, get over here! That's brilliant, by the way. No. Oh, well, I guess, all right. Oh, that was actually really cool. Boing. Wee. You figured out your shift pattern? Something about beating someone down with a sliver of health on a pure adrenaline. It's like, yeah, right, when they kill you at the last second? Yes. So tell me your schedule. What is it? What's up with it? Ah. Oh, it's for these big moves. All right, cool. Okay, I can find 2 more. 1 more. Oh, 2 more. Oh, okay. Ooh, dig it. First we get cut by a day. So it's 2, 4, and 5. Patterns on off goes like this. So 5 on, 5 off, 4 on, 5 off, 5 on, 4 off. I'll be taking that. I got armor again. Let's go. Yeah, well, all that extra energy. Kick it. Oh, no.
Relic acquired. One remaining.
The time of ascension is now.
Wait, crap, hang on.
No longer shall we be shackled to a dying cosmos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, buddy. Do it again. Man, I'm not good at parrying this. Oh, there was stuff on the ground. All right, take two. Well, you know what I forgot that I could do? Who did that? Come on, please. All right, buddy. Come on. Do I trust it? Next month is 5 nights, 5 off, 4 days, 5 off, 5 nights, 4 off. I still don't like all the, I mean, for me, what, in my Doom game? Ah, I missed it. All right, so do we not? Boing. Okay. Now, there is a life sigil. That's making me dizzy. $36, $24, $48, $60. Ta-da! No map data available. Wait, I don't need to go back there. Which is fine with me because I'll be pulling the same monthly income. Oh crap. Oh. Unless I could use a few off, just 3 days, 5 nights, now 4 days. That's a lot. Ah! Got you. That is all 5. Look at his skin. Oh. I'm gonna use that gun though. Rookie numbers compared to the others. So are you working? Most we can do is 13 on, 1 off. See, I thought it was 1 day and 7. So I'm assuming that if you do 13, you have to have 2 days off. How they get around that? Because I thought it was 1 day and 7 was the law. That is OSHA standard. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, why not? So we, as an OSHA site, can't work more than 16 hours per shift. You did Walmart distribution, you had 2 instances where you worked 18. What happened to that? Because we supposedly had a waiver we signed stating we were to finish unloading our trucks if needed. They got around that. Huh. Yeah, full-time under 40. Yep. I've heard plenty of that. Which is really sad, though. That's it? 3? I'll spend that. Cool. I actually just applied to a full remote job tonight. I'm really hoping to hear back from him. It's odd though, now I'm just thinking about it. Actually, if anything, you think it'd be captain using AI. I'm just thinking, I didn't get a phone call that said suspected spam, so. Whataburger can provide a 401k. I don't see why others can't. Buc-ee's also has really good benefits, and yes, they do. They have really good. I gotta tell you, where I work, you go where I work, the PTO and benefits are insanely good. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I've been there a year and a half, and I have 156 hours of PTO that I accrue over the year, and next year I think it's like 200 something. But it goes up every year. Yeah, that's how much I can get per year. But like, dude, imagine I'm a year and a half and I've already got a month's vacation, basically. It's nuts. Yes, I do. Like, that's how much I'll get, like, my entire year. You can carry over 80 hours, I think. I get, it's like 12 and a half hours a month. So yeah, like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, all right. Come on, hit me with the... I work 40 a week. I very rarely get overtime. Have I gotten overtime? Yes, but it's rare.
Both relics acquired. Proceed to the central lift.
That could be it. Because, like, depending on, well, I guess it kind of depends on your week. Because, like, I won't have a week that has 24s, but I also won't have a week that has 60s, you know? Oh, you did have 160? I mean, $1 raise for every week you lost. So if you lost 2 weeks, you got a $2 raise. This is fun. It was holiday pay. Oh, but and give you another $2 raise, but Okay, that's good. Ha! That's actually really funny. Yo, that's creepy. That's cool, but that's weird. Aw, look at the sword. First time I've been off Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, these things. I see the green up there. It's gotta be at least a good feeling a little bit. Oh, get exploded. Okay, so I got one of those. I'm working Valentine's Day and 4th of July. I think I would have rather have had $2 raise. Well, oh, I got the Battle Knight. It's a toy, buddy. Well, what?
The stars bleed, and the void calls.
The $2 raise over the course of the year probably would have given you more money. But it also kind of depends on how much holiday pay you're going to get. You know? Like if it's time and a half. I mean, it would have to be almost... No, it would have to be way more than that for it to really work. Oh, target-rich environment. Let's go. Oh, come on, Crimson. You suck. Thank you. Very much like to destroy you. Thank you. I do not like these little, like, witch things. Things are annoying to fight. Try again. Sliced. You know, Zombie, I don't know if you feel this way, but I almost feel like this game is really, really forgiving. Also, these guys, I feel like they're really influenced by the Hive in Destiny. $20 or more. What? Causes secondary pincushion or ricochet damage to demons with rail spike. Oh.
Hey, buddy. Did you forget something?
No. What's up, Cass? Yeah. Yes, you do. For a little while, anyway. For a little while. Yep. So guess what you up to, man? How are you loving the new Assassin's Creed? It's quite different than... Yes, it does look way different than Dooms you've played.
Unknown. No reference data available.
What's up, Nobunaga? Oh, I fell. It is very pretty. I was watching you play, you had the flaming pistols and the crazy swords and stuff. Yeah. That's not what I wanted to do, but it'll work. Well, goodbye. Just got, oh, I thought you just got fired. I was like, what? Okay, tired from work. Yeah, that's a little bit different. Now, let me up there. Okay, so I can't. Bing. I never played the original first two Dooms, missed a lot of lore. This one, okay, so I kind of, from a story perspective, I kind of have a problem with this one. And the reason is because this one, they labeled it a prequel. And I'm like, unless you're gonna pull off something where like all technology is destroyed, then yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's basically rip and tear demons. That's it. Whole game. GG's. But like, this is supposed to be before 2018 and Eternal. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. I found a secret. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that instead of this one being a prequel, that they would continue this style, because I love it. I'm a big fan of this style. Like, I'm even playing this on Nightmare, Kess, and I have the lowest parry frame and the lowest dodge frame. It's like when I play in the big Titan thing, it has the lowest dodge frames too. Huh. Well, yeah. You go, I can see that. It... Oh, quesito. Quesito, quesito, quesito. Whoa, what was that? You're cool. You're dead, but... Then the games veer from the norm at first, widely disliked, but grow on people after some time. I like it. I'm probably the weirdo, though. Sure. There we go. Really do just like the big old fire. I know that only Doom game is not connected to the main series is Doom 3. Well, these aren't either. At first, I hated the weapon juggling thing. The quick kills tell me it's more restrictive. Honestly, while the classic Doom 2018, that can be exclusively with Super Shotgun once you obtain it. For some reason, in Doom 2018, I felt like I died so much easier. You know? Because you were doomed. I dig it. Doomsday trailer? What about a new day? You know what? Die. Everything in Eternal and this has its own effective counter and attack method. 2018 enemies were basically sponges. Okay, I did feel that a lot. I don't know. Come on. That's a lot of damage. Holy cow. Just this man could not. Really? Oh, look, colors. It's a hellish game, Simon says. Are you saying that with the other game or this one? Oh. Okay, there's gonna be something special here. I'm missing something. What obvious thing am I missing? That was cool. Doom souls. He's a light. Let's go. Nope. Not dealing with that today. That's a monster. Yeah, but I mean, players like agency in choosing how they handle situations. If you train them to do a specific action in every situation, basically training their ingenuity and ability to improvise. Yes, that is true, because if you feel like you're forced into a specific playstyle, it's not your playstyle. It's, oh look, it's walk your hand combat simulator, or hold your hand combat simulator. What a goofball. Okay, what am I missing? There's gotta be something, some kind of blue. One thing I will say I do miss, I miss the keys. I do. I miss the red, blue, yellow keys. Well, blue, yellow, red, but you know what I mean. We also get 10 minutes of ads. So, you should never get that many ads here, unless... You got 10 minutes? Why? The only thing that should ever happen is if Twitch does the ads in the upper right-hand corner, not the main screen. That's ridiculous. I have it set for 3 minutes of ads per hour. Those are my set. Ah. Perfect. Dang it. It's messed up, dude. Boom. Pocket FM. Oh, yeah, is that the thing that, like... Yeah, all it does is, like, it's supposed to tell these stories. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Cass. That is ridiculous. There's no reason for 10 minutes like that. What? They're how long? Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I took a minute to remember what... Yeah. It's ridiculous. Okay, well, that's... That was insane. Did you guys see that EA is trying to get ads in their games? In the games. Like, ad breaks. No, ad breaks though, not like clever on the wall stuff. What do you mean they've been doing that? What? Wait, are you serious? What? They had ad breaks in the fighting games? Okay, that's absurd. That's messed up. Before the change in management. Good on that CEO. Back. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cass, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Just imagine. Like, that's, to me, that's insanity. Hold on, I gotta read that just a sec. Oh, this is bad. Oh. Okay, yeah, she cut 1,600 jobs and another 1,600 are on the block in the year. I'd lose half their workforce. Wait, ID lost half their workforce out of it. What's my raid boss? Crim! No, but we need healing. I can't. I had this added for diet pills. Every develop under their banner, save like Bethesda and Activision on the metaphorical chopping block. So Fallout 5, New Vegas, 3 remasters of Steam made Fallout game are in the works. Great, now we're all dead. Well, that was one of the potential side effects. Yes. In Fallout 5, I plan to get 3 soonish. 4 is just so good, man.
Gravitic anomalies detected.
Gravitic, that's a fun word. New Vegas had in front of me easily the best by a landslide. Please, you. Okay. What is Vegas? You know why? Since you live in a desert. Ah! Yeah, it's New Vegas, not Old Vegas. You know, this may be harsh, but it's probably accurate. I feel like getting games like that is going to be few and far between because the heart in game development isn't really there, you know? Yeah, right. I understand, but like, I'm just saying. It's got close. Closer. Honestly, indie games are they're making strides. There's so much more heart in indie games and innovation because no one's telling them what to do because they're the ones creating it.
She is inside the temple.
Agreed. Oh, it's a weapon skin. Yay! Hi, buddy. Ow. Hey. See, I don't think it's over. I don't think AAA is over. I really don't. But what I do feel like is that there's going to be a massive shift. How well the Chinese new games are coming out, like Black Myth Wukong. Heck yeah, let's go. And, like, okay, I've heard a lot of mixed things about Crimson Desert, just because of the heavy use of AI in it. We're about to be, Hugo. PC prices are finally, PC prices are falling because all the money is being spent on RAM and storage space, like motherboards and their parts. The other things are starting to drop in price. And other things, you know, there's a lot more to it. It wasn't heavily, it was barely used in early assets for decorations, and it was removed. Okay, so maybe, Tut, correct me on this. Maybe I'm mixing some things up, so this is where I'll ask for clarification. I thought Crimson Desert had more than just a use of AI for just like placeholder stuff, but also for like models, and like world building and the layout, like how some of the sandbox stuff was being used. Is that not true? Because I could be mixing up my games. And I'm fine with being corrected. So the way I see it, traditional gaming is dead. Subscription-based cloud gaming is going to be the unfortunate future.
Prepare the sacrifice. The beast approaches.
I'm excited for Phantom Blade Zero and Blood Message. Those games will be fun. Also, the new Black Myth game. I have to look into it again, but maybe they did comment.
Alert. Unknown entity approaching.
They did comment it was removed. Interesting. Like, here's the thing. I have what the heck is that? Oh, he a bigot. Hi. He eated me. Wow. Let me use a hand. I don't have a problem with some AI. I don't like how it's being overused. I really don't. Man, I miss like everything. There. Hit demons with every pellet. Oh, that's easy. They don't want you to own or play older generation games because it's hurting their profits. They want you on a subscription that they determine what you have access to. Play mindless competitive live service shooters and eat up all the cosmetic microtransactions, battle passes, and XP boosts that they'll take away once the servers go offline. Yeah, I will say there's a lot of live service stuff. Yeah. And I really don't.
Vital signs.
I don't necessarily buy into literally don't buy into all the live service stuff. Do I play some live service games? Yeah. I do. But not a whole lot.
Located.
Oh, what the heck? Oh, you did not. Okay. I've got a back up there. Yes, I was saying that's you. Yep, you made a point before I get to it. The constant. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Nope. more. Like, I don't know. Like, there are some games I've been playing that I really have enjoyed the fact that they're not ridiculously long. You know, like, oh, dang, nice. I really enjoy, you know, I do thoroughly enjoy my multiplayer games. Like, I'm really enjoying Warhammer. Oh, I'm gonna die. Yep, I tried. This is fun, yeah. So, a lot of the games I play on stream are more story focused.
Located.
Or at least... maybe not story... yeah, this is... Oh, hey, get back here. Well, I'm trying to read chat and play Doom. Yeah. More one finger focused? Yeah, right. Trying to thread the needle, play the game is like, yes. Come on, break the armor. Ah. Reason why PS3 and 360 era peaked for me because the generation is back to the game's 20 to 60 hours. Yes. Bong. Ow. Shotgun doesn't do enough damage. Well, you know, wanted to chase forever games. Like, I was actually having this conversation with my wife not too long ago. You go, the whole games, it's okay for them to end. You know, I don't mind DLCs for stuff. I don't. Like, if you don't have a DLC for a game, fine. But I don't need to play your game for, you know, a decade. Like, either let the game die, or man, here's an idea. Expand the story. It's not even being digestible either. But, like, okay, for example, look how long Gears has been down. Like, legitimately, when was the last time you really heard about a Gears game? You know? super enemies. Like 2015? Yeah, okay. So, we're talking 11 years ago. Gears is finally coming out with another game. Guess what? Is that healthy for it? Yes. You take time away, you try to develop your ideas, you get a clear idea of what you're going to do before you do it. And then you attack it. Please. There's that. No! Had the first 2 Gears of War, but the new one's supposed to be... Oh, dude. Like, okay, Kess, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Major organ located.
I have really enjoyed... I've played all the Gears except for... I don't think I've played 4 or 5. No, maybe I played 4. Crap. Oh, come on. Okay. That challenge is done. Played worse. That's not an excuse, I've just played worse. I've not played Infinity. I do have the plan to.
Major organ located.
Oh, wow. What the heck? Wow. That's pretty bad. Come on. That was close. That was way too close. Ha! Banshee, you're hilarious. Fancy 15, same thing from what I understand. Destiny. Oh! Sure, I just thought a good idea to put lore of the game, not inside the game. Yes,
Major
Destiny
order
1.
located.
Alright, let's do this quickly. That one. That one. Oh, easy. You. As for its self-contained story, and addicting gameplay, replayability, that's it. Dark Souls. Just saying. What the heck? Please. Thank you. Exactly. See, my wife gets it. Thank you. Yes, they did. I'm not upset. I actually had to focus on that one. Imagine having to ignore you guys and having to, like, play the game. You don't really need a map, though, Kess. I promise. Okay, look. Truth be told, I have no problems playing those games with you guys. I will do it. I'll even make a brand new character. Just for you guys to have the like experience, I have no problems. I played I don't know if you guys remember Sandwich, but I co-opted his first run. Just saying. Thank you. I would like to take your sword, please. Oh! Bong! Surprise! What? Bye-bye. Let's see. I mean, Krim, you remember how it took me to get yes on Zelda? Need an arrow that says go here. And I will go, well, based on the process of elimination, they probably mean me. Considering buying myself a small OLED monitor and rigging my classic mini consoles to it since my laptop isn't supported anymore. You know, I was actually... I was actually talking to Princess tonight about how I want to go ahead and build a new computer and get it going because how the motherboard prices have gone down. I have HDMI inputs on my TV. I already have access to many games, but don't tell the gaming companies that. Oh no, how dare you, Yugo. That's what I would do, man. Buy parts, dude. Part it out. Buy things on sale. Oh, sucks to be you, little buddy. Oh. Oh, I am. That is not stuff I should be standing in. The important crap on your phone. Stop it. I need to, like, I'm very much out of the know on stuff when it comes to PC building again. Like, I don't know my stuff. And it's why I rely on people like my older brother, Manic, Zombie, people who are very knowledgeable. Trading up. Wait. Let me in, let me in. Thank you. Hey, I'll take that. so perfect. Got your arm. You got my life. Ooh. Motherboards are really inexpensive right now, Zombie. I saw they dropped a ton. Like top-end motherboards right now on Amazon, some of them are going for like 200 bucks. If you do the Prime sale stuff. Well, okay. That makes me sound like a jerk. I get Crim's hand-me-down. Ugh. Please, thank you. I know. It does have pretty lights. I could go without RGB though. I did not need to do that. Yeah, so I have a 3060 Ti, and I have a Ryzen 7. No, Ryzen 5. Damn. Yeah, I have a Ryzen 5. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons why I really want to get a new computer, like, it doesn't have to be today or even this week, but one thing is like, there are games that I can't play with my wife anymore because she just doesn't, her rig is so old. Her rig is 10 years old. So, like, there's stuff that we can't play that I would really like to play with her, and she'd really like to play with me as well. So, yeah. You don't forget it. Okay. I was like, so what dudes? I'm happy because you can forget about buying used games. Yeah. Right. I mean, the thing is, like, you can share digitally with some of the stuff. Some. But, like, I don't really buy anything used, and I don't on PC, and I don't borrow games. You know? That's fair, it's hard to run things in your old hardware. Yeah, I mean, there are games you can play that are no problem, but there are some stuff it's just like, you know, her computer has been upgraded to the max. Outside of actually getting, like, motherboards, and just doing a whole new build with graphics card. Because, like, her graphics card, I think, is the 1990 series. It's an old rig, you know? It's not from 1990. That's the series model. Dork.
Oh,
Let me see that. I switched digital 2 years ago because I don't have the space to buy physical games. Plus, physical games just download a license. Yeah, the fact that you just buy the case now, no, that's frustrating. We were joking about Oregon Trail a couple days ago. I was telling my wife that my biggest aggravation with Oregon Trail is that when your wagon would get stuck, it's like, oh, you have to unload 40 pounds of meat. Okay, unload the 40 pounds of meat, put it back on the wagon when you're out. Nope, permanently gone. Hated that. Live. See, same customer because now I'm buying some physical because because of delisting. Because if at least you have the disc, you can still download the game if it's delisted. Same if you own it prior to delisting. What's up, boys? Shield. Yes. And when you get the like steel books for stuff. Some of those steelbook cases were really cool looking too. You know? Oh, that's bad. I could tank those, no big deal. All right. Okay. Come on. Okay, that's better. Let's go. Behind the scenes making of the games. Oh, so that was a cool feature in old games. And just bring back Mega Man X. There you go.
Caution. Thera's signal is surrounded by enemy targets.
I'm back. Stairs! No! Doom Guy's biggest weakness, cardio. Although he never skipped leg day. Uh-oh. Hey, buddy. I'll take that. And that. Out of my way, buddy boy. Oh, I missed both. Bong! How about you just take one of those, and I take that. Would anybody else like some? You're, you're gonna blast it back, watch. That's cool.
Her energy is too powerful.
Right?
Even for you. The Sentinels know so little about themselves. She has the spirit of an ancient Sentinel god within her. A wraith who are descendants of this realm. Here, her energy becomes fully realized.
Gave him plot armor, he took his helmet off.
And it can be harnessed. We should kill him. something more permanent. Etrigos Zaraf Mazike.
Snap. Ah! I guess he became so strong, he might escape hell. Wait, what? Would the optional encounter in the stomach? Aw, man. Toe to toe, okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. So 19, 20, 21, 22. Those are what I have left. And I definitely can't do it tonight because I have to open tomorrow. Or not open, I have to go another day. I have to work 9 to 7 tomorrow. Blah. What? Did you miss an encounter with Hanosh? I don't know. Jonah? I wasn't in a fish. Well, I mean, the ruins on Mars were because they opened things for demons to come in. Yeah. It took me a second to piece it together. Man, I want to finish this, but I can't. Not tonight. Believe it or not, my wife is rather intelligent. She is. She's very, very intelligent. Yeah, right, in my dreams. No, I need to chill out, because I gotta sleep. Let my mind calm down. The last few acts, they were pretty action-packed, which I don't mind. It really started with, hold up, the UMC, UAC creating and teleporting technology, opening gates to hell, and then wanting to harness energy from it. Just don't expect me to be that witty verbally. Thank you, Green Avenger. I appreciate that. Right, it's not connected to the main series, but it's a soft reboot. Lots of story and things to do and look at and discover. You know, I'm gonna raid Tug. It's just a safe raid at this point. Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. I really do. It's good to see you guys again. And I'm actually glad that it wasn't like 2.5 weeks before, you know, I got to see you guys again. But guys, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. For what you guys have done, hanging out. Just everything. I really appreciate it. Guys, I don't think I'm streaming this Thursday because I think I have to close. I work 9 to 7 tomorrow, and then Thursday I work 12 to 9:45. So it won't be this Thursday, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, love you guys. Mean it. See y'all soon.